you can jump over any gate, I suppose. So,
but it honestly takes a lot of effort to fare evade.
Yeah, I think public they should change it somewhat. More people should be paying, but it shouldn't cost as much as it does.
I agree. $9.60 for a day.
Yeah, or just have like maybe if you just use it that day. Welcome to a new episode of. We did get a name suggestion. I think it was like pizza the action.
Pizza the
like
action.
Like a piece of the action. What do you think of that?
I like it. You know, you gotta get in there, get a pizza of the action. You know, get involved.
A slice of life. I thought was kind of boring. But I kind of like that. So maybe we'll stick with it. Welcome to the new episode of the Pizza Show. Name still tentative, but we'll see.
I like it though.
Special guest today. NIK. Nicholas Azamoudis. Can I say your full name?
Yes, you can.
Okay, that's fantastic. So NIK is a civil engineer, a graduate from a top Australian university. He has worked at McDonald's. He's cooked a lot of burgers.
You know.
And he is infamously a proud Greek man.
Of course.
Sharing his Greek stories in contemporary Australia. So NIK, fuck, I don't know what to say.
It's good to get the gang back together.
It's good to get the gang back together. We were actually partners in
2012, year
2012 in year 6 when we worked on a project surrounding regarding fair trade. You know, the fair trade they have like the branding and chocolates and whatnot.
You might know the smash hit Fair Trade
the
Style.
The smash hit Fair Trade Style by DJ Slick Nick, and he is DJ Slick Nick himself.
The one and only.
The one and only. So, what is your opinions of fair trade looking back at it? What would you say about fair trade now?
Looking back on it, I feel like that song has got a lot of traction, and maybe if people actually, you know, took a minute to realize what it was about. You know,
you'd have a much bigger impact.
Well, yeah, but I still think there is a little bit of an impact because when people see the fair trade logos, they think of fair trade stuff. Who mandated like fair trade? Like who's running it? I actually have no idea.
Honestly,
it's been such a long time. I can't remember where it came from. I think it was like whatever, like WHO or, you know, one of those big World Health Organizations, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They started it.
Yeah, because I was thinking that like, how would I critically analyze it nowadays? You know, what would I like do? Like, where are they getting that money from? Who is doing it?
I assume the companies have to pay to become fair trade certified.
Yeah.
And it's like just like a face, you know, like having fair trade certification just makes you, I don't know, more reputable.
Because everyone sort of got their own like fair trade thing after, like Nestle has their thing.
Yeah.
But Nestle is still has done some terrible things in the past, you know, and it's all for the for M&Ms in that, and you know,
the palm oil,
the Maltesers. They were like polluting water and then selling bottled fresh water. It was like disasters.
Really?
So it's good there's organizations in place to I guess maintain these standards. I hope so. Well, what do you think? Do you buy like fair trade? Do you make sure that you read the labels and stuff or not?
I don't really pay much attention to it. We're gonna have to have a quick interlude.
Alright, nice.
Alright.
Some real action from the Year 6 technology captain here.
We had a good roll, honestly. We basically just wasted time in the computer lab.
Yeah, we didn't really do too much. We just like, can we get Minecraft on the school iPads?
Yeah.
And then we got away with it because they allowed the free version, but everyone would like have the paid version.
Everyone got the paid version, and then I remember it was either you or Zach got burnt down my mansion.
No, that was Zach.
It was probably Zach.
What happened was that
and then you used to let people into your world, and you used to
disconnect with the items, and then like, the items are gone forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, but then there was also the one where you would take people, you would make people spawn because there was a set spawn point.
Yeah.
And they would spawn into like an abyss that they couldn't get out of because you'd make it out of obsidian.
Yeah, it was a very deeply flawed game. Like
I know.
Edition back in the day, but it was.
It was a great game.
It was a great game.
Had some good memories on it.
It really was because it was limited, and that limitation was like, oh, you can sort of like perfect your like little chunk you get to work.
Yeah, you used to be able to put I think it was 6 like diamond thingos to make a block, and then you turn the block back into the little thingos, and you'd get 9, so you'd get 3 extra every time.
Oh yeah.
So it was like the glitch.
I remember there was a way of like you would have to dig mines to get diamonds and stuff, but redstone wasn't implemented, so you would just leave all these ores unmined until like the game would update with the good stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a good
time.
It was a good time. It was a good time. You were saying you do transport.
Yeah, I do transport planning.
Is that like private company or public company?
Well, ACOM is.
Oh, by that I mean like, is it government or is it not?
Yeah, so we sort of do work for public, government. Like Department of Transport, Department of State and Growth in Tasmania.
Yeah.
Because we work across a few different states: Tassie, South Australia, Victoria.
Is it a bit difficult getting transport between Victoria and Tasmania, given that there's no road?
Well, yeah, you'd have to take the ferry or the plane. So one time, some of my colleagues did a site visit to Tasmania. They got the 7 a.m. flight to Tasmania and got like the 5 p.m. flight back from Tasmania. So they did a day trip to Tasmania.
Was it good?
I don't know. I wasn't on it, but they said it was alright.
That's good. That's good.
Hopefully, I get to go down if there's another site visit, but hopefully it would be more than a day.
I went to Tasmania last year to drop off my trailer.
Yeah.
Good place. It's very quiet.
Yeah.
Although I think there's like a lot of meth heads.
Right. Okay. I don't know. I didn't see any when I was there.
That's what I've heard.
I was down there 2011 or 2012 when there was like the Tournament of Mines state finals or national finals or something was down there. Yeah. That's a throwback as well.
I never did that. I never got involved with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tasmania is. Do you think it will ever be its own country?
I don't think there's enough population down there to warrant it.
You could say that about New Zealand.
Yeah, but New Zealand's far enough away for it to warrant it being its own country. Like, it's... I mean, to be fair, it takes longer to go from Melbourne to Perth than it does to go from Melbourne to New Zealand.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But, like, they have Perth teams and New Zealand teams in some leagues. So, like, in the A-League, they have, like, a Perth versus New Zealand game. It takes them, like, 7 hours by plane to get between the two cities.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. We are a big country. But I guess how long does it take America to get from, like, the East Coast to the West Coast?
I think it's only, like, maybe it is...
How long is, like, California to New York?
I don't know. I've never been to the US.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know either. I've never been to... I've been to the US, but I'm not...
Right.
Jamie, pull that up for us. How long does it take to go from California to New York?
5 hours and 5 minutes.
So it's kind of like Melbourne to Perth, I guess.
Yeah, similar. Sydney to Perth, Melbourne to Perth.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Do you think? Okay, this is interesting. This is something I've been wondering. This is the question, and I'll probably get to making the pizzas. So, do you think do you think there'll ever be a rail between Sydney and Melbourne, like a high-speed rail?
Well, I just don't see there's not enough demand for it to build that much infrastructure. Because if you think about it, it's 900 kilometers or something.
Yeah.
You already have the road. Like there is rail that can get there.
It is the most flown route.
Yeah.
In the world.
But do you think that the people that fly it would change and take a train instead?
I think potentially, like someone did the math, it's like a 3.5 hour train trip, right? And it's like by the time you have to drive to the airport, go through all the airport customs, do all that.
Yeah.
Get off, get your car or whatever. I mean, I'm assuming that some of these problems don't be problems with the rail. It's like it's a hassle. It's a hassle to go do.
But then the train, where would it leave from? It would probably leave from Southern Cross.
Yeah.
But then the thing is that they'd have to, to travel through the city, you wouldn't really be able to go at high speeds. Like, you'd have to go at the normal speed. Because, there's not enough capacity,
You could build it underground. You
could build it underground, but that's going to take a lot of effort. Obviously, there is a rail that goes to Sydney currently. It's not that high speed.
Yeah, it takes 7 hours?
Yeah, something like that, 7 to 10 hours or something. So you can do it overnight. But yeah, I mean, I guess it works well because you just go to the station. I think it leaves from Southern Cross. And then it goes to the Central Sydney station.
Yeah.
So it does work, but...
Because I just remember thinking it, because I was in Europe, I was in Italy.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the distance from Milan to Rome or something is however long, but that's a 3-hour train ride.
Yeah.
And it's the same distance kind of.
But you also have a lot of other cities in between.
Yeah, and they stop.
And they
then they go again.
Yeah. But that's why it's viable, because you have those cities that are in between it.
Yeah.
Where you can, put stops and there's demand from those cities as well.
And we just have Wodonga.
Yeah,
Wodonga.
pretty much. You have Albury, maybe you could stop in Canberra, but Canberra's also a little bit out of the way.
Canberra would be a good stop there.
It would. But I guess you'd need somewhere between Albury and Melbourne. That's a big stretch there.
Yeah.
There's there's Shepherd and but.
I mean, we are still a developing. We're a developing.
Yeah,
country.
I know. I mean, realistically, for the land size we are a developing country. The US has 300 million people, whereas we only have 26.
Do you think in the next 100 years we could see a rail between the two cities?
Potentially. I don't think it would happen though, because I feel like they're more focused on fixing air travel. So if you can make air travel more sustainable,
yeah,
and it already exists, and you don't have to invest all this infrastructure. Because also the infrastructure then needs to be maintained.
Yeah.
And it's really hot out there in the in Albury and wherever. The tracks, they expand and contract, and they would be prone to buckling. Especially because it probably goes from 0 degrees overnight in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
To 40, 45 degrees in the summer.
How does the existing train line sort of deal with it? Is it just do you need different rails? Or
you basically have gaps between the rails, small gaps to allow for movement, but I don't know how that would work at high speeds. Whereas other countries, I don't think they have that big of a difference between hot and cold.
How much are they saying it costs to do the Melbourne airport to city rail?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
And I think the reason they're not super keen on it is because they're getting lobbied against by taxi unions and Uber and that sort of stuff.
Really? I didn't know they were. I guess it makes sense.
Because they'd lose a lot of business.
They would lose a lot of business, but I feel like those industries are kind of going out anyway. Eventually you have automated cars.
Yeah. Driverless cars and that sort of stuff. But I don't know.
The question is though, I guess, is what is the question? I forgot.
I don't know.
It's an interesting prospect. I like the idea of a rail between the two cities, but we'll see if it ends up happening. It could be good for if you wanted to encourage more non-city development, you could have stops.
Well, that's what it would need to be. You'd need to put cities in between the Melbourne, Albury, and then Albury,
Do you
Sydney.
think Melbourne to Adelaide would be more viable in a way?
Yeah, in a way it
Because
would
it's
be
like you have a bit
because
more
there's
along
the
the-
coast.
You have the coast.
And I feel
Yeah.
like the coast is easier because you can easily get goods there. Whereas if you're inland, it's a lot harder. Like the only way you can get it is by trucks or by rail.
But that could be good in terms of logistics services, though. You could get a lot of it gets there on rail like in an hour and a half. Doesn't
Potentially.
need like cargo planes or anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
All
It's
right,
definitely interesting to think about.
we'll come back to this and we'll get some mads in us.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
Hey, look at this. It's a camera. You can see me make the pizzas now. This show gets better every single week. So DJ Slick Nick is a Greek guy, and he kind of wanted a Greek pizza, so I made it for him. I got some goat's cheese and ham, and those are the main two things. Of course, the standard. Okay, I'm gonna ferment it for 24 to 48 hours. I'm gonna give it a mixture of cheeses, some fresh mozzarella. There's some. What's the other mozzarella? The pear mozzarella. I'm gonna give it. I think there was a little bit of buffalo mozzarella in there too, and of course pecorino and the standard tomato sauce I would make for it. It was really interesting because I was pretty skeptical about the actual taste of the pizza. I was like, oh, ghost cheese and ham. Will that work? Will that work? It did. It tasted fantastic and it looked good too. Oh, good. It's come out nice. And look at Nick here. He just can't keep his hands off it. He's so hungry. He's so famished by this delicious pizza.
Yep, we're back. Made some beautiful pizzas here.
Yep.
So
Very nice.
what is on the pizza is ham, 3 kinds of cheeses, buffalo mozzarella, fresh mozzarella, pecorino, and goat's cheese.
All kinds.
And of course, quattro formaggi, and also the ham, of course.
Beautiful. So I started having this. There was
This
this
is really
pizza
good.
place, back when I used to play soccer in under 10s or 11s, we had a coach. And his name was Fab. And it turned out that he owned a pizza shop called Fabio's. And when we started going there, they had a ham and goat's cheese pizza.
Was it mozzarella as well and stuff? Or?
Yeah. Like this. So tomato sauce, mozzarella, ham and goat's cheese. And so I started ordering it and I really liked it.
Just like, but not everyone does goat cheese pizzas in general, do they?
Not many people do it. Yeah. It's difficult to find them.
I found out about a mushroom. You've had a mushroom thyme goat's cheese, like a bit of mozzarella, no tomato sauce.
Like a white base.
Yeah, I think that's all right, but I think this is better.
I like it. Other than this, I usually go to pepperoni for lesser known pizza places, where you don't know what you're gonna get. Because I feel like pepperoni is safe.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. It's kind of hard to mess up.
You just got the tomato sauce, mozzarella, and then pepperoni. And those are just easy,
For me, the best determinant of how good a pizza place is the oven. But I don't necessarily think the oven makes the pizza, if it's wood fired or not. It just sort of speaks to what they're trying to do. It's if you want a really high quality pizza, if you care about making good pizza, it's going to be gas or it's going to be wood. If you don't care about that, if you're just trying to make cheap pizzas or make a lot of pizzas easily and not have people know how to make the art of making a pizza, who care more about
oven.
Electric oven, yeah.
Or conveyor belt.
Conveyor belt, yeah. Because electric ovens with the base can be alright, I think, but conveyor belt is you can still get good pizzas out of it. I'm not complaining about a Domino's type pizza or something, but
You can, but it's just you just want to get as many pizzas out as you can for as little as possible.
definitely, yeah. But ham's really good.
It is.
So, are there any like big projects in Australia that you like? You're very like a bit insane, a bit crazy, but you think would be a really good idea.
Well, I mean, actually completing the suburban rail loop is a very good idea.
Mm.
I don't think it'll be done for another 20 years, like the full thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, doing that and then doing one a bit closer in. Like, 'cause back in the day, they used to have an inner circle and an outer circle.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's like the Alamein line, which comes off the Gormaverley line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the remnants of the outer circle line.
Yeah.
And then some of the Craigieburn line is the inner circle, but it doesn't connect anymore. And you have like trams and stuff that try and connect it, and buses.
Mm.
But no one really wants to ride a tram or a bus.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many issues with them that I've found.
Trams can be alright sometimes. It's inconsistent. Like you have the tram that goes like the St Kilda one to the city.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like meant to be effectively like a train line, right?
Yeah.
Like that, it's basically got its own like little zone for most of it.
Yeah, it used to be a train line, and then they converted it to a tramway.
Why?
I don't know. One of the governments in the 1970s decided to. They got rid of a lot of it. There used to be a train that went all the way to Mornington.
There still isn't. I mean, you have the Stony Point line.
Yeah, this is any point line, but there used to be a train, like an electric train that would go all the way to Mornington.
Yeah, why'd they destroy so much of all these train lines? Because
they're running out of money, so they sold the land.
So dumb.
It is, I know.
I know there used to be like, I didn't know there was a tram line, and that was in like Cheltenham, in Beaumaris.
Yeah, the tramway parade, and that's what it was for, trams. I think it may have been like horse-drawn trams, not electric.
I saw a picture of an electric tram.
But yeah, there was a part of it that was electric, that they upgraded. And yeah, there used to be St Kilda to Brighton Beach used to be an electric tramway, and they just got rid of it. There's a lot of areas that are missing public transport. Like,
so we just have a much worse system than we did before.
Potentially.
I think they should upgrade the Stony Point line, to be honest.
They could. I just don't know if there's enough demand.
I mean, the peninsula's got a lot of people. Like,
it does.
Yeah.
Well, the Stony Point line just doesn't service the main part of the peninsula. It goes out to the western.
It goes out to the western part for some reason. Well, I guess they have military bases and stuff, but
they had the what's it called there? The port. That's what it was mainly used to service. Because originally it was like a freight line or something. It's like a transport pizza pod.
Well, no, it's interesting. I think it'll be interesting. Hopefully, the viewers, the history of our public transport.
It is really cool. Like you can search up like history of Victoria's public transport and see all the changes that were made. When I don't have any other work to do, sometimes I'll have a look through, and there's a lot of good like YouTube channels that actually talk about it.
Really?
Yeah, like people who are transport enthusiasts have podcasts about old tram lines and freeways that were never built. Because there was a plan in the 1970s, I think, to build like a whole bunch of freeways around Melbourne. But they never went through with them.
Why not?
Because they realised that it would just destroy like the city.
Wow.
Because you just have these massive freeways tearing through towns and that sort of stuff. But a few of them ended up getting built, like East Link. Nell is like one of them, like North East Link.
No.
That's starting to be built. ACOM's working on that a little bit. Actually, quite a bit. We're doing like the north bit. And it's interesting to see how it gets built.
Yeah.
And what will become of it? And you kind of get to see the other side, because when you're waiting for something to get built, you're always like, oh, why is it taking so long? What they're doing.
Yeah.
But then you actually get to see what they're doing.
Do you think it's annoying that how many times it's just like buses replace trains? It's just, I don't want to deal with that. The buses are always slow and annoying.
There's buses replacing trains from tonight all the way until like Sunday night.
Where from?
The whole Sandy line.
Bro.
And
disaster.
Well, it's just like, why do they choose these times? Like, it's Labor Day weekend, so maybe, not Labor Day, King's birthday.
Yeah.
So maybe they were like, well, hopefully people will be away. We can do maintenance then.
Do you think it's better to be a perpetual student and get student rates than to not?
I feel like student rates are pretty good.
They're like half price, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't even use them. I can't be asked going into like the office and being like, sign this print. Oh my god, I got hiccups.
Yeah. No, you basically have to go to one of those staff transport stations and take your signed form.
Yeah, and I can't be bothered.
You save a lot of money though if you catch a train a lot.
You do, I should do it.
That's one of the things I miss about being a student. Because I catch a train a lot. Because I go to work 2 days a week currently.
If you don't,
and you pay full price, $9.60 for a day.
Yeah, it's like, might as well drive.
Yeah.
If it's cheaper.
Well, if you're going with multiple people, it would be cheaper to drive. Because if you have like 2 or 3 people, right?
Yeah.
It's like $30. To drive, it's probably like, I don't know, $10 worth of petrol.
Less than $10 worth of petrol, probably.
Maybe, well, $10 worth of petrol plus like wear and tear on the car and that sort of stuff.
Parking.
And then parking's $18.
Is it?
Yeah, you can get there's early bird rates in the city of $18.
Oh, I thought it was cheaper.
Nah, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, but it's just like, do you think public transport is too expensive or not?
I do.
Do you think people would fare dodge? I didn't have a fare dodge, but now I'm considering fare dodging because
a lot of people do. You
Yeah.
just see it like, they'll go behind someone who's, going through, touching on, if it's a gate.
Yeah.
Or they'll get off at a station where they know there's no gates.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah.
But you should see there's a lot of, like when I go to Southern Cross, there's a lot of traffic officers there.
Do they stop people from?
Sometimes. Like, at least every morning I see like 1 or 2 people stopped. Getting talked to by the traffic cops.
Sorry about my hiccups, everyone. That's interesting. I've never seen someone go. Well, I mean, you have your Tiki inspectors, your Mikey inspectors.
Yeah. Ones are on the train.
But I'll be throwing your full fare. Like you probably save money still.
What, from catching the train?
From catching the train, yeah.
Better driving.
No, I was saying like from Ferrabang.
Alright.
And Heath.
Yeah, if you catch the train a lot, then yes, you probably could save money.
Yeah,
The issue is when you go to a station that has the ticket gates, how do you avoid them?
The ticket gates?
Like, the gates you have to sting and they open?
Yeah.
Like, it's difficult to get through those.
It is.
Obviously, it's possible. Because people do it.
You can jump, as long as you're young and athletic and full of vigor, you can jump over any gate, I suppose. So,
but it honestly takes a lot of effort to fare evade.
Yeah, I think public, they should change it somewhat. More people should be paying, but it shouldn't cost as much as it does.
I agree. $9.60 for a day.
Yeah, or just have like maybe if you just use it that day, you just pay like $2 to $4, and that's like for you good for the whole day.
Yeah, one of the good things about Sydney is if you do 8 trips,
yeah,
it's free for the rest of the week.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And
wait, isn't there? You can buy like an annual pass in Melbourne.
yeah, I think you can.
It's like $500 or something.
Something, it's
Unlimited
expensive.
Trips, yeah.
And the other thing you can do in
I guess it might be good if
Sydney,
you got a family. It's like you and your partner, or somebody can share that.
the other thing in Sydney is you can use your card, like your credit card.
Yeah.
You just tap on your credit card rather than having a mic here. In Sydney it's called Opal.
Yeah.
But you can
they
just
have
tap
Opal.
on your credit card.
Yeah. Why is it called Opal?
I don't really know.
Hmm.
Because, you know why? Maybe because in the UK it's called the Oyster card. And don't oysters have opals in them?
I don't think they have opals.
Or do they have pearls?
I think they have pearls.
Right, well maybe it's just a play on that, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it stands for something.
Well, I know that the Australian netball team is called the Opals, or the basketball team or something like that. It's called the Opals, so
Maybe you
maybe
have like opal mines or something. I don't know.
maybe it's a significant thing in Australia.
Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know enough opal law.
Opal law. How about opium law?
Opium law? Oh my god.
Didn't
It's
we
bad.
learn about that in history?
We did. People. China really got a tough end, bro. They're all addicted to heroin.
Yeah,
And we did it to them. Not you.
not me.
I did it to them. I'm sorry, China.
Sorry, Oscar
Did
Cho.
you say sorry in Chinese?
All I can think of is Xie, which is thank
Thank
you.
you.
Guaylo, that's a white person.
Yeah.
I don't know. Angus, do better. Teach me more Chinese words.
Yeah. I didn't learn. Why would the Baba? Why would the Mama? Why would
Wasn't that was that Chinese?
It's Chinese.
Hey, it was.
Man, these hiccups. I'm gonna get some water.
We learned so
You want
many
some?
languages. Yeah, I have a class.
Yeah.
We learned so many languages. It's
We
crazy.
did. It was, yeah.
They're ready to escape.
Usually I do offer an alcoholic beverage, but Nick doesn't drink. I don't really want to drink tonight, so if it is water,
Beautiful. Cheers.
beautiful substance, a beautiful wine. These hiccups are bad.
Yeah.
You still go to the gym, Nick?
I've been doing my rehab for my knee,
Yeah,
gaining a lot of strength back.
that's good.
It's really different to the last time I did the rehab.
Really.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I'm just gonna turn the pizza oven down a little bit.
Yep. Good idea. Yeah, I don't know, it's just been better.
That's good.
Like going to the gym, I think helps a lot.
Yeah.
Also like more like freedom, like, you know, because I can drive now. I can just do it whenever I want.
Like
We also have more room in our house as well.
Oh yeah.
So like, you know, because
So for those who don't know, Nick he tore his ACL, and for the second time in his life.
yeah, that's right. First time was back in year 7.
Yeah.
So I had a strong 9-year run of a new ACL, and it's gone again.
Same one.
Yeah, same knee. You know who I saw at the physio today?
Yeah.
Brad Chick.
Really?
Yeah, he did his ACL as well,
That's crazy.
playing soccer.
He's still playing soccer.
Yeah, I don't know, he was playing. So he's gotten into bike riding since being injured. But yeah, that was like a throwback.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. How's he doing?
He's good. He said he did commerce and now he's doing maths.
Alright.
I think at Melbourne.
Oh, cool. These hiccups are annoying me.
Yeah.
Hiccup mayhem.
Hiccup madness.
What do you think about this idea? A bridge between Geelong and Portsea.
Geelong and Portsea. It's a bit far.
No, it's not.
Geelong and Portsea.
They're
Probably like Queenscliff and Portsea.
Isn't Portsea the end of the peninsula?
Yeah, but the ferry goes from Queenscliff to Sorrento.
Oh, Queenscliff. Oh, yeah, Queenscliff. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
I mean, look, you could potentially do it, but is there enough demand to warrant it? No, and for the demand that there is,
there could be one day.
they have the ferry. If someone wants to go from one side to the other.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, I guess the issue with the ferry is that no one's going to take it if they're trying to get across quickly.
Yeah, the issue is though is like, I feel like with the bridge you block off so much. What do you call like marine traffic?
Yeah, maritime traffic.
Yeah, unless you make a big tunnel.
You could do a tunnel. The thing is, it's just not enough demand.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because for the demand that there is, people can, take the ferry, or they just drive around.
Do you think if we were in China, they would do it?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Like, because Portsea would be a town, a city of 1 million people.
Yeah.
And Queenscliff would be a city of 1 million people. And, on the bridge there'd probably be, at least 100,000 cars a day.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with public infrastructure. It's like, these ideas are cool. Like, what if there was a bridge here, and then you're like, to necessitate that, the country would probably be a shitter place.
It would. It would increase car traffic. It would decrease the nice view that you have out.
Yeah.
You just have this big monstrosity of a bridge. Bridges aren't nice to look at.
Some of them are.
Well, they are, but they still take away from the natural environment.
Yeah.
The reason bridges exist is to increase the travel, decrease the travel time from one place to another.
Yeah.
But when there's no demand for it, there's no need to do it.
Yeah.
But it's still interesting to think about. That's why I reckon, if there were more games where you could, build your own city, but it was based on a real life, city.
Like SimCity, but real
like
life.
SimCity, but the actual real life city.
That's interesting.
Would be fun.
So you want a simulator that's that's interesting.
Well, they actually, one of the teams at ACOM has this model. It's VITM, which is Victoria's Integrated Transport Model. And the model literally has inside of it a fake community, people, and it generates trips and looks at demand.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Sounds like SimCity.
It's basically that, but it's not you don't actually see it. It's just text, I guess.
So, what was I thinking of? I think I was looking at back to the topic of a potential high-speed rail from Melbourne to Sydney. I was looking at the costs and benefits, and it can. People say it can sustain itself, even though they always go under budget. It's commercially viable to do. If the government put a bit in, they'd probably get a decent return on it.
I don't think it's environmentally viable.
The issue is, however, it costs. The people put things point to is hundreds of billions of dollars. And then I just looked at the COVID debt that we accumulated, and I'm like, bro, it's a half to a third of that for our high speed. I'm like, man, we just spent all this money and we have nothing to show for it. I guess less dead people.
I guess we have less dead people. I guess people aren't struggling. Obviously they're struggling now,
Yeah.
because they're not like, you know, everything's gone up in price.
Mm.
But at least now they're back at work,
Yeah.
so they can still earn a living. But it's still worse than it was before COVID.
Was that an issue that, like, I look at America, for instance, right, and they spent, I think, a lot less as a percentage of a compared to their population size than we did. But like all the issues we have, they just sort of had as well.
Well, our biggest reason we spent so much money was because we stayed in lockdown for so long.
Yeah, we didn't.
But when
spend
you
money
look
in
back at
lockdown.
it, I don't know if we needed to be in lockdown that long.
We didn't. I mean, definitely not. I mean, you know, ScoMo fucked up the vaccines. I think the whole angle they were going for was just to like not effective.
Well, they were trying to remove COVID completely.
Yeah.
Realistically, we needed to just learn to live with COVID.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's never going to go away.
Definitely. Yeah. I think it should have just been. I mean, there were ways we could have avoided it. Too. If we if we didn't mess up hotel quarantine.
Well, this is the thing. It didn't need to come into Australia.
It didn't. No.
No. And it didn't need to get out of hotel quarantine. Like, we could have shut down to the rest of the world, but still operated in Australia.
Yeah.
And like, we almost did it a few times.
And then we're like, no.
And then there were just small errors, you know, like the hotel quarantine
The
stuff.
hotel quarantine was a big stuffer. That was a.
I agree.
I hate the fact that no one owned up to it, and no one owned up.
No,
Whose
I know.
idea was that?
I know.
Yeah,
But you know, what's even worse is, you know, as a Richmond supporter, we won 3 premierships, and one of them we didn't even get to go and see.
It's really sad.
I know. It just, like, I always talk about it with my dad, and we're like, you know, well, we've won 3 premierships. One was like an underdog story when no one expected it. The other one we won by 89 points. You know, that one, like, it didn't really feel as good as the first one. And then in 2018 we lost to
Let's start
Collingwood.
recording on the camera. Sorry.
I think. Oh yeah, no, you didn't stop on that
I
camera.
didn't stop on that camera.
No.
Yeah.
You might have to.
Hopefully you got footage safe. But yeah, go back to Richmond.
So yeah, so you know, one was the one where we, you know, the first one was the best one because, you know, no one expected it.
Yeah.
Then in 2018 we lost. Yeah, and then 2019 we won by 89 points. Obviously that was really great, but it didn't test our team that much because we just destroyed them.
Yeah.
And then 2020 was the real like grind of a grand final. Like, you know, we had a lot of injuries. We were playing Geelong, like the best team. We were down by like 20 points at half time, and we beat them. And we had to watch it from our couch, you know.
Yeah.
And it was at night time, and it just wasn't. It didn't feel as real as the other ones.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously there's a lot of worse things that happened.
There's a lot of worse things that happened in that period.
But it's just something that you look back on and think,
Yeah.
you know, we won 3 grand finals, we didn't even get to see one of them.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to stay in this place where it's like negative, but I'm like, I always think back to that period. I'm like, I can't believe it turned out the way it did. Like, I won't mention politicians. I don't want to get sued for defamation. Anyway, but going on. What else? What is it like being a civil engineer?
It's really good.
Is it a lot of work or is it pretty good?
I mean, it goes up and down. Consulting is really interesting because...
Are you consulting?
Yeah, I mean, it's consulting.
Oh, yeah.
So we sort of, you know, work under these different, you know, government and sometimes private groups.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, it goes up and down. Sometimes you have a lot of work, sometimes you don't have much. But yeah, like I got to go out on a site visit a week or 2 ago out to Morwell, which is in Gippsland area,
Yeah.
to the mine there, looking at the roads. So that was cool. And then I've been doing some work on different like stations and that sort of stuff as well, looking at how you upgrade them.
Yeah, that's really
And
cool.
yeah, it's just really like the company's really good. We have a lot of support. There was this award that I won for uni. Like my team was given the best team award.
Yeah.
And
What was the team for?
it was just for like this highway design project that we did.
Yeah.
And we were given the best team.
It's like, okay, well, this highway needs at least 2 lanes.
Yeah, stuff like that. We had to design like the
Guys, it's gonna be colored dark grey.
yeah. Nah, it was like the vertical and horizontal alignment up and down.
Yeah.
We had to look at how much earth you needed to remove. The cost, the benefit. So it was a bit of everything. It was a bit of economic. It was a bit of design. It was a bit of planning, and yeah. So our team won, but then one of the guys from ACOM, our group director, he happened to be there presenting an award to ACOM,
Yeah.
and he noticed that I got an award. So at the latest like ceremony or like we have like a team brief each month, and he like shouted me out. It was good
That's
to get
good.
recognised,
Yeah.
Even though it was something that I did back at Monash, the fact that they still recognise that, the achievement of it.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
good.
good,
That's
yeah.
good. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. Now to the hot topics today. There's been some huge technological and cultural jumps. And just huge different things over the last couple of weeks. And I'm curious to know what Nick thinks of them. The news has been so crazy, I could probably write this out for like a couple of weeks on the show. Starting off. Famous Fox News host Tucker Carlson came out with his new independent news show. Episode 1 was basically saying, I don't know why we're all for like pro-Ukraine. Ukraine is like pretty sussy as well, guys. We considered this a very corrupt country before it went to war. Now it's like a big look the good guys. Anyway, 8 minutes to the 10-minute video, he's like, 2 days ago, an insider from an and we know the guy. He's like, it's not like he's hiding his identity.
Mm-hmm.
He worked for a high up in a U.S. intelligence agency. Claims, have you heard this?
No.
That the United States has non-human aircraft and has been using it to further their own research into military technologies, basically.
Non-human.
Yeah.
So like autonomous or like remote controlled or like AI?
Like alien.
Alien?
Yeah.
How does it work? What? Like it's an actual...
Like there is a crash. They apparently have, according to this insider, who did work for the intelligence agencies, right? And the US has come out and like denied this for some reason. People have like said, yeah, it's kind of true. So I don't know if it's true or not, but the idea is that they have crashed intact and like destroyed parts of non-human aircraft. And they apparently have the bodies as well of the pilots.
The pilots, isn't like the pilots
As in
are
aliens.
non-human pilots.
Yeah, as in aliens, basically. I mean, it could be like an alien AI thing or something, but...
I don't know.
What do you think
So
about it?
the bodies were non-human.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have we seen it?
Apparently the government has. We haven't seen it.
Right.
What do you think? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's bullshit?
Well, I don't know whether would have found these aliens, like unless they built them.
I think the idea is there's like a couple different governments across the world have like alien evidence for like technology. And this is the theory that's getting built over like based on conspiracy theories.
Right, okay.
But it's like everyone's just kept quiet about it, and the US is like pressuring people to keep quiet about it because it's like a big deal. But what do you think it's actually real, or do you think it's not?
Doesn't sound like it would be real to me.
You think there's no chance?
I mean, I just don't see where these aliens would have come from.
Because that's what I was wondering.
Unless it was like a robot that they built, right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, because obviously a robot can work.
Yeah, because I was thinking like there's no way we'll ever come in contact with the aliens. The part of me that's like, what if this is true?
But I mean,
it's like it's one of those things that it's like you just hear, like you just see it happen. You do the logic, it's like it maybe comes to your probably conclusion. It's like I guess it's wrong. They found a way.
I mean, yeah, it's just until it's like proven.
Yeah.
You just have to. I guess it's not really something that's in your control. So why is there any point worrying about it?
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I feel
it's
like
cool to think
there's
about.
There's a lot of consequences, like kind of questions you got to ask yourself if it's real. I mean, like the first one that came to my mind, if this information is true, what are like the aliens? Are they like dinosaurs that got smart, millions of years ago, and like had a civilization that all like went away or something? Or is it like AI from like across like ages away? Or is it like just regular us green aliens?
I mean, obviously we don't have any like obviously there's the remains of the dinosaurs, but there's no like human remains from back then.
Well, yeah, but
because humans didn't exist.
You could have a velociraptor that's like, can program JavaScript.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's possibilities of anything that could have been happening. But yeah, the fact is that it's believed that, dinosaurs got wiped out by a meteorite. But no one really knows. Like, because no one was there. No one ever saw the meteorite. I
mean, we were kind of there, to be honest. Our ancestors.
But there were no human ancestors at that time.
Yeah.
Like, humans evolved from monkeys, right?
Which evolved from, like, rats. All mammals were, like, a little rat back in there. That's why so many animals look like rats.
But, if you think about it, didn't they first, like, come out of water? Like, there were no mammals back when the dinosaurs were around.
I mean...
There was only, like, aquatic creatures.
You had the rat.
I thought that they all died out, and it was only like some birds that survived.
Oh yeah, but it might have come from birds. It might have been birds. It might have been.
But we're not related to birds, I don't think.
I mean, we are eventually.
Yeah.
Do we come from birds? We don't. I mean, we probably come from something warm-blooded. Birds. I mean, I don't know. People say like some dinosaurs were probably warm-blooded, or.
But obviously, there's no way of knowing.
Yeah.
Where exactly humans came from.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you can have all these theories. Heaven. Yeah, heaven. God created us.
Do you want me to... Did you want to have another pizza?
Yeah, I'm down.
Nice. Alright, I'll pause recording and come back.
Yeah.
We are back with another
day, another pizza.
Another day, another pizza.
You know what they say in Italy?
Yeah. Look at this pie here. Look at
this fantastic pizza pie.
And look at this. Look at how beautiful my pies. My pizzas.
This one is the best one yet, I reckon.
You reckon? This is like Alex's video. The best one yet.
Yeah. Do you have a video called The Best One Yet?
He has a video called The Best One Yet.
Alright, you can go.
Grab this. Yeah.
Oh
yeah, I should just take this off here.
Yeah.
Just be careful not to have full of my pizza.
Yeah, no.
Of my computer.
On your pizza.
Yeah. Alright. So that's the aliens. Next thing.
The final part of the podcast.
The final few questions.
Episode 3. Chapter 3.
Episode 2. Well, it's the third episode.
Episode 3, Chapter
0. 3. Yeah. So okay. Recently, in the last few weeks, Elon Musk has gotten approval to use his Neuralink in testing humans.
Wow, what is it?
It's the brain chip.
It's the one where you can connect to people?
Yeah, and you can connect to computers through your brain.
Wow. I mean, I feel like you'd want to wait a few years.
Have you seen the monkeys playing Pong?
No.
It's crazy. They put a brain chip in a monkey.
Mm.
And they teach him how to play Pong with his brain. And he just thinks about moving the Pong thing and he moves it.
That's so cool.
Think you'll ever get a brain chip in you or not?
I don't think I need it.
You're smart enough?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see the need. Like, it would be good for people like you know, paraplegics, that sort of stuff. Like, you know how you know how Neil Danaher, he's got the, you know, big freeze, and he can't speak anymore because of his MND. I think that's what it is. Yeah, motor neuron disease. So he has like a computer and it like writes what he thinks, kind of like what Stephen Hawking used to do. So, you know, you can use that now to speak.
What if he just thinks some fucked up things, you know? Starts thinking the N-word.
Yeah, I don't really know if he gets angry and, you know. But yeah, I don't really know how it's controlled, honestly.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe, though, that it exists.
It would be a crazy world without there'd be no filter.
Well, yeah. Like, obviously, like, you have to filter what you're thinking. I don't know.
So
it's crazy.
That's crazy. And the last question, I guess, is: have you seen Apple's new VR AR headset?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen it?
I've been out of the loop with technology stuff, really.
Oh, true. I was gonna go Jamie pull that up, but I can't really into my head. Basically, they've got a new. Have you heard of the Google Glass?
Yeah.
They basically got a Google Glass, but it's like way better and costs like over like $3,500 US.
Really?
But it's like they advertise it like a Google Glass, but it's good.
Right. Yeah. Apparently, Apple were trying to make a car at one stage, but it was an issue with it because it didn't have windows.
I mean, they still might be trying to make a car, maybe.
Oh, it's a joke.
Oh. That's a great one.
Thank you.
It's a great one.
I like it.
Do you think they're going to still try and make a car, though, or not?
I don't know. I feel like Apple needs to branch out because, like, obviously their phones were the best. And now a lot of people own them, and that's what makes them so popular because of Apple's connectivity to other phones. Because Apple still have the best connectivity. Like, their phones connect best to other iPhones. Because so many people have iPhones, it makes it so that that's the easiest phone to own. But I don't think Apple is the best phone. Like, the Google Pixel is insanely good. A Samsung Galaxy.
I like my Pixel, although it did have problems for a long time.
There's other phones, you know, Huawei has ones, Oppo.
Yeah.
There's so many Android phones. Like, Apple is the only phone that doesn't use Android.
Is that true?
Well, from what I know, I can't.
I guess you just have the Windows OS.
The Windows, yeah.
But they got rid of that ages ago.
Yeah, but most phones use Android now, except for Apple.
Yeah.
But the issue is most people own Apple phones, which makes it mean that Apple is the most connected, right? And Apple sort of shuts its connectivity off with other phones.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you send a message from an Apple phone to another phone, it comes up as blue if it's an Apple phone, and it comes up in green if it's not.
It's like racism for phones.
Kind of is. Because
why is your text going to be Shrek green? Why can't it be
oh no, red.
Megamind blue?
Megamind blue, yeah. Nah, Shrek is a good green though. There's this footy player, Sean Darcy, and he's really big, like you know, like Shrek.
Yeah.
So his nickname is Shrek.
Wow.
And so everyone calls him Shrek, and then in like the fantasy game when he does well, people put on the Shrek mask. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Some players have very weird nicknames. Like there's a guy called The Desk.
Why?
I don't really know. There's another guy called Fridge.
Oh,
because
yeah.
he eats a lot. I think another guy called Meatball, the human meatball. Like they just have weird names.
Yeah. What's your opinion on Elon Musk? Do you think he's insane, or do you think he's a cool guy?
I mean, I reckon his ideas are good, but I feel like he goes a bit off the rails with them. Like the Hyperloop.
Mm.
In theory, it's good. In practice, it's basically just an underground road
Yeah.
that has the same traffic problems. Like his Hyperloop had a traffic jam.
Yeah. I never understood the Hyperloop and how it would work.
In theory, it's supposed to be good because
Yeah.
it's basically from one destination to another with no interruptions.
Yeah.
But in practice, it's basically just a normal road.
Yeah, but because isn't that just the highway? You know.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I think he's just, I don't think he's like everything he does is like genius or whatever. But I think it's like he's just one guy. He's just like he does dumb things.
I mean, look, the Tesla is pretty good for a car.
I've heard that. I always see good things about Teslas. I don't really hear bad things about Teslas.
But I reckon that could be Tesla owners trying to cope.
Yeah.
Oh, my Tesla's so great because I spent $60,000 on it for a glorified computer with a tablet on the front of it.
Well, even my brother, he's like, he was like anti-Tesla, he thought Teslas were dumb, he thought EVs were dumb. And then he like rewrote it around at Teslas. This is crazy, it's so quiet.
Yeah, the sound is definitely one of the most,
Noticeable.
most noticeable things with the Tesla.
Is the acceleration a lot faster, or?
Apparently it is. I don't know, my parents test drove one.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, the acceleration is really good. It's smooth. But the second you take your foot off the accelerator, the car slows down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is really interesting.
Mm.
And so my dad was driving and he'd take his foot off the accelerator and the car would slow down. He'd realize it's slowing down and then he'd put it back on, so that was going like that,
Mm. I think Rowan Atkinson had an article recently or something where he's like, because he's like a mechanical engineer or something, I think what he is.
Really?
Yeah, Mr. Bean. He did pass his calculus.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So he was basically saying that EVs they are like not a solution to environmental problems at all, and they should stop being advertised as such.
Well, the issue is that you need to have environmental electricity.
Yeah.
Because if you're using coal to burn electricity,
It's
just as bad.
It's usually less efficient, apparently.
Well, it is, because the coal loses efficiency going into the car,
into the
wires.
Yeah.
Then comes into the power point, it loses efficiency there going into the plug, and then your car loses efficiency as well.
Whereas your car just burns that.
Your car just straight up burns the petrol.
Yeah. But yeah, it was that, and it's like batteries are just like the emissions you create from like building electric cars are way higher than regular petrol cars.
Well, that's the other thing, because the way that they use the batteries, I'm pretty sure it's lithium batteries, and
Usually,
the mining of lithium is very
intensive. The other question, I guess, was like, what is hydrogen fuel? I don't know anything about like hydrogen fuel and like hydrogen-based energy.
basically it's like the splitting of hydrogen from something. I can't remember exactly how it works, but basically the energy that creates is used somehow. Something like that. It's very interesting. I don't know exactly how it works.
Because people were talking about putting that in cars, and I was like, I didn't know you could make.
It just sounds very dangerous.
It does. It does sound very dangerous.
The thing where I think electric vehicles is useful is for public transport. Electric buses, because if you think about a bus, you think about how loud the bus is.
Yeah.
Turning that into an electric bus is just so much better.
Has anyone made electric motorbikes? Or does it not work because the battery's still heavy and the motorbike is...
I don't really know. I haven't seen any, so I assume they don't work.
I guess you have the push bikes that have the motor in them.
And the Lime scooters.
Yeah, the Lime scooters.
Have you ever ridden one of those?
One time I had rode one, yeah. I didn't like it. I felt like I was losing money every minute I was on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, my company's been doing some stuff with them because we got in a guy from the city of Melbourne.
Well, started fishing them out the Yarra.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know exactly what we're doing, but apparently we're trying to get more involved with that and getting more councils into it.
Yeah.
Because if there were Lime scooters around Bayside, you'd probably ride them.
I don't know. Might as well walk, I guess.
Like, say you wanted to go from here to like the station.
Yeah, if they were available, I guess. But at the same time, it's like they're not consistent. I would want the Lime scooter consistently near me for that trip.
You park your Lime scooter in front of your house and lock it up so no one can take it.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
But then at that stage, it's like, why not just get a personal e-scooter?
Get a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you more of a I ride bikes on the footpath kind of guy, or I ride bikes on the road?
Well, like, where it's possible, I would ride on the road.
Yeah.
But then if there's a path, like along the beach, I usually ride along the path. I don't get why you would ride along Beach Road. Like,
if you have a really big group of people, I guess. But
yeah. That makes sense. Like, if you're riding, like, you know, and you're in a big group of like 10, 15 people, sure.
Yeah.
But if you're like one person or two people and you're riding on the road, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I think that's probably about it for the episode. Unless you want to go on for anything else, Nick, anything you want to say?
No, I'm happy to finish up.
Mine's got to be crashed anyway. So any final words?
Any final words? No. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on, Nick.
Yes, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad you came on. Learned a lot. Good talks, good times. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hello.